Hello, my name is Eden, and I've decided to make a video explaining explaining a bit about myself in my life. I feel like it's necessary for people to get out and share this. People need to know that these things happen and they're not alone if it happens to you too. My grandfather, Calvin Philbeck, who was very well known in my local community as a good person, he recently died. And it has been absolutely like my grandfather abused me growing up. Abused the entire family. He had a temper. The smallest thing could set him off, and he would start screaming at everybody. At the air, he would throw stuff. I've seen him smash things into bits. He's punched a hole in the wall. He will scream at my grandma over every little thing. She'll be trying to help him, like have a flashlight shining down on something, and he'd scream at her for not knowing how to use a flashlight and call her names. My family, we were all taught to, when he gets like this, stay in our room and be quiet so he doesn't have a reason to come after us. That was my entire life. Out of my mom, my grandmother, and my three siblings, I was really the only one that was stubborn and would not back down and adhere to these rules. I wasn't having it. I didn't want to be disrespected. I didn't want to be treated that way. So I fought him tooth and nail every time. If he screamed at me, I screamed back. If he tried to hit me, I, I'd hit him too. I've punched him before because he has choked me to the point of almost passing out before. He has slammed me down on the ground and started choking me on the ground, holding me down. He has gotten on top of me and started beating my back with his fist before until it was black and blue. He's punched my arm and I reported him to the police, a bruise, and all I could get was a 6 month restraining order. And I've never had any proof. I'm not allowed to record anything. It only happens behind closed doors. He's only ever does this behind closed doors in his family. I have family, they're too scared to come up. I have a friend that might be willing to come up and say something, but I need to start this. I'm tired of living in fear. I'm tired. My family is coming after me because I exposed him on Facebook, which I admit is not the best place to bring your drama, but there's no other communities, there's no other social media or place to expose anyone for this. I mean, it's the best place for other people to see it. And the thing that hurts the most is knowing this man is gone. I was happy when he died because of what he did to my family, what he's done to me. He's molested me before. He would sometimes rub me in spots that were uncomfortable. He When I was alone at the house with him once, I didn't know people had left. I was in the shower and he opened it and he started washing me with me telling him no and screaming. I was vulnerable and completely terrified. Once when I was sick and I couldn't get up, I had a not pneumonia, sorry, strep and flu, and I fell asleep on the couch. He laid down next to me and started rubbing down there, and I couldn't wake up because the medicine had me out. And the next morning it was red and it hurt down there. He rubbed so hard, and I remember waking up screaming at him to stop, but not being able to be conscious. And he would say, "Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help." He, I was trying to run to my room one time when I got out of the shower, and he stopped me in the hallway to take a picture of me when I was naked. Um, he recorded me and my friend in our room when we were hanging out one night. We found a recording. He was live recording us. He he's and this was and do you know what I was told when he started doing this to me? I was told that I just needed to stay away from him so he can't do that. That if I stayed away, I would be safe. If I was in the same room with him alone, it'd be fine. My family, that was the way of fixing it. When the shower thing happened, it was really the first time he actually ever did anything. See, he used to be like a dad to me. We used to go out. I remember good times with him when we used to go out and go to the flea market and he'd buy me stuff. And then he started being weird when I hit puberty. Well, the first time he did the shower thing was the first time he ever did anything. My grandma was like, I was 14, and she was like, well, we can kick him out if you want, but, it'll be hard without him because he kind of brings in most of the money, and, he gives you stuff. You won't be able to get stuff anymore, and it'll be hard. And as a 14-year-old, I was given the choice to kick out someone that had just sexually handled me. 14 was given the choice. You should not give a child that choice. That should not be up to the child. My grandma was supposed to protect me, and instead she made my decision. And she guilt tripped me. She literally said, like, uh, things might, like, we won't be able to do as much. He does pay most of, give us monthly money, so things, like, what am I supposed to do as a 14-year-old? Being told, if he leaves, we'll be more financially unstable than we already are. I come from a very, very poor family already. And I just felt like I couldn't say no. I was also confused. That was the first time he ever did anything to me, and I had a very strong bond with him when I was young, before he started directing a lot of his anger towards me because I started fighting. So I was also confused because that was the first time, and I still cared about him. But a lot has happened since then, and I just have nothing but resent for this man. Nothing but resentment for him. I am glad he's gone. I've been waiting for this for a long time. My only regret is that I couldn't go and say to him the things I've always wanted to say. But right now I have family attacking me for things that I said. I was trying to expose him. You know, he's gone, but the thing that hurt the most was people saying, rest in peace, he's going to heaven. He's such a good man. And knowing what he's done to my family and me, that is the hardest thing to see. He did this all behind closed doors. No one would ever know. And I know that people won't believe me. I've had my cousins tell me I'm a liar, I'm a troublemaker, I need help. I need to stop saying bad things about a good man that can't defend himself. I called the police and told them about the sexual and physical and abuse and everything. Mentioned the recordings. They came to get the computer to check to see if it had the recordings on it. And he shoved the police officer. What is that? Doesn't that seem suspicious? If he didn't have anything to hide, why would he shove them to try and stop them from going for the computer? I don't have any proof. Like most victims of household abuse, I just couldn't get any proof. This is all my word. But I promise you, I'm not a liar. I'm not lying. And the funny thing is that most of the people that are going to accuse me of lying, most of the people are part of all this. Part of all the, oh, this is how our family is. Oh, like, like my uncle Daniel Philbeck, he literally just told me that uh, you know, I'm a narcissistic evil or whatever, and that I only care about myself, and that uh, it's all about me, me, me when it comes to me, and I only tell half truths and lies, which is not true. I don't lie. That's one thing I hold very strongly about myself is I'm not a liar. Yes, perspective is different, but I'm not a liar. Like my uncle, he literally like shoved me out of his house and tried to throw me down some stairs. I did hit him back. I'm not gonna deny I didn't hit him. He came at me first though, and he has the nerve to say I'm a liar and narcissistic evil. And the funny thing is that like I have low self-esteem because people like my grandfather, Calvin, my entire life he told me I couldn't do anything because I'm autistic, because I'm disabled. I would never be able to do anything in life. I wouldn't be able to hold a job. I wouldn't be able to uh, I wouldn't be able to move out of the state, move out of the house. I would have to rely on my grandparents forever. That since I was like 6 years old. Do you know how much of a toll that puts on a person? The reason I didn't have friends was because of how I am. I didn't have a good therapist for a long time either. Um, I have a very hard time with being called selfish, and my family picked up on that. So a lot of the times, if I try to do something for myself, like stand up for myself, they would tell me, "You're being selfish. You think it's all about you. You think the world revolves around you," because they know that was what stung me the most, and I would back down. Because if I backed down, that meant I wasn't selfish. I have a very perfectionist issue with myself. If I can't do anything bad. I cannot hurt anyone. I cannot make someone sad. I cannot do anything bad, or I'm a bad person. That's how I feel. That's how they made me feel. I have literally put myself on the pavement and let people step all over me before. Like, I let a guy sexually harass and stalk me for a year because I couldn't stand up for myself because uh, he would call me selfish or wrong. And I would be like, shit, I'm a bad person. And I've been in a situation, I'm still in a situation, I'm trying to get the money to move, and I'm still stuck here. Thankfully, I'm out of the original household, but I'm still close to my family, and this is stuff I've always wanted to talk about this. I've always wanted to exposure is important, especially when it comes to victims. And keep being told, keep it off Facebook. This isn't for Facebook, and I would keep it off Facebook if there was an easier way to expose this kind of thing. But Facebook is the best reach for the local community, the people that are going to know these people. And I want these people to know the truth about them. Whether they believe me or not is up to them. Apparently, some people think I'm a fucking liar, which, again, I'm not. They only see what they see. And a good part of my family is very narcissistic and think that their abuse is normal. Literally, I had my third cousin tell me, when I told him that my papa hit me, he was like, "Yeah, I can believe that, but that's normal in our family. That's just how us Philbecks are." They have normalized the abuse. Like, literally, it's just normal for our household. My grandfather, when my mom was young, literally held her at shotgun point with my mom in her lap because he thought she was cheating. There's a bunch of other stories. I mostly want to speak of my own experience because I know what I've been through. My mom's told me about a bunch of abuse she's went through with him. And now that he's gone, I feel like I can talk about it. I wasn't originally going to make an exposure video. I was just going to, expose it on Facebook, see how far I could reach since the man's dead. But people are coming after me, and I feel like maybe this will go further. I want the world to know this. Maybe I'll go into detail in another video, but I'm just saying the basis to explain how bad of a person he was. I cannot even begin to explain every little thing. Um, I mean, it's been hard. Literally, every person I meet that is my friend and not a part of my family, shortly after knowing them, they will tell me, "I know you've been abused because of the way you act." Like, I have so many friends that will literally, like, because they're not my family and it's not normalized and they realize I've been abused. And I think that says a lot. I literally, I just, I think that's bad. Victims should be able to call out. And I wish I could have gotten help a long time ago, but the law enforcement was on this man's side. Everyone who knew him, he put on a good face. They never would suspect him. It's how these people work. That's how these people work. Is everyone thinks he's amazing, but behind closed doors, he's a monster. I'm gonna stop here. I didn't want to make this video more than 10 minutes long, but this is the start of it. I'm not backing down. Now that I don't have to fear for him coming for my life because he's threatened my life before, I want everyone to know what he's done to me and my family.